Welcome to A Seat at the Table. This is that moment where we get the Dunlap report. We actually got our big numbers, but facts. You know, when we think of finance, when we think of Black excellence, and we think of Black wealth, and we think of the fact that Black Wall Street is a reality for each of us who owns corporations versus just consuming their products. Dunlap report with Ian Dunlap. How are you?
I'm great, brother. How are you?
I'm having a beautiful day, man. You know, grateful for the day, but grateful for the opportunity to just speak with you and share with our audience what wealth building and wealth creation is all about.
I am as well. I'm honored to be here. To everyone watching, hey, how are you? Happy Wednesday. And for those of you who invested last week, I hope you're happy. I hope I did you right.
So, how to invest during COVID. So, people want to know. And obviously, we want to do some special programming. So, I'm with it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the first thing we talked about before, but tech. So we talked about AMD last week. AMD hit an all-time high. It's up 12% today, I believe. Continue to invest in the companies that have been mentioned. And the most important thing is holding them for 5 years. I know you guys want to flip money. I know you want to take 1,000, turn it to 2,000 and buy whatever. Don't do it. Because I know people that sold AMD last week and now they're kicking themselves in the foot. Some people lost out on maybe $10,000, $12,000 selling. Hold for a long period of time. Once again, you only need 4. And I think what's most important, we need to get like maybe an accountability group to check in that people are holding on to these companies, because if you have a good business, why would you want to get rid of it? So like, for example, like if you had, I love my analogies. Like if you had Drake as an artist or like Mary J. Blige's catalog, like why would you sell that catalog off just because to get a car? It's the same kind of thing. Like when you own stock, you are actually owning percentages of a company and letting that company make money for you. I just happen to be able to pick out some of the best businesses for you guys. So start there. You only need 4, rinse and repeat, invest every month, and then you guys are great.
Well, you say it simply. I think the other thing that can be said about flipping is then you're not investing.
Yes.
So for those who, there are many terms that we have heard that are literally, you're not a custodian of your wealth if you're actually flipping it and have the behavior of actually not investing.
Yes.
So many people talk about it as though that, they're actually investing. But when you flip, sometimes you forget to put it back. And that's when that same investment, those profits, but you're not investing for yourself.
Yes.
You can't create legacy when you're investing just for that moment. The other thing that you said that I'm often challenging many people in various age groups, are you investing for you or are you investing for your children?
Mm-hmm.
Are you investing for your children's children? Because that will also dictate the very idea of moving money out of the market.
Yes.
You're not an investor in a company when you're in and out of it. You're actually a person that's just come for the ride and then you're back out. And then sometimes you can't get back in when you want to get back in. The other thing is, if you had a stock for 5 years and it's tripled in value, there are banks that are prepared to give you a little loan against that.
Very true.
So
Very true.
having a portfolio should be the objective. Developing a portfolio and understanding, and maybe we can even come with words so that you can follow Ian in understanding. And he shared some insights on just creating a fake portfolio until you had the courage or the wherewithal to begin, the capital to begin. For me, it's a conversation that we want to have with all of you on Facebook when you think about this Dunlap report, to understand that it's fact-based. This isn't fiction-based.
Yes, no theory.
This is something that you can do alongside Ian when you follow his recommendations or you just follow his suggestions. For you who want to just try and sample the ability, he shared with us last week how you could actually create an account and actually just monitor and test.
Mm-hmm. It's very simple. So, and the most important thing I want to go back to is just starting. I know it's scary. I know everyone's worried about a second crash. Everyone's worried about election. In the hindsight, none of it really will matter. In 5 or 6 years, the only question will be, do you have money or do you not? That's it. You can't say because of the election, I didn't invest, I didn't do this. And even if we go back to AMD, like 5 years ago, AMD was at like $6.35. Going back to my parents, go ask your children that are gamers what processors are in their computer. They're going to be able to point to you, AMD or NVIDIA. Tying back to what we said last week, if you ask your kids what are they interested in, you can see some of the companies that make up their interest. So they provide the processors for the games. You can look at the gaming companies like Take-Two Interactive, one for example. So there are clues all around. Just stick there, have four, you guys are fine.
Yeah, but when you say have four, I think the idea in for most of us is budget.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about budget and we talk about words like discipline. When you're talking finance, you're talking discipline. When you're talking investing, you're talking about discipline.
Yes.
And the other value proposition for me, just sharing with all of you, is sacrifice. Literally learn to sacrifice. You know, this whole pandemic, hopefully, it has right sized your idea of what it really means to save money and not go out and eat every day, 4 times a week. Make your own lunch. These are some of the skill sets that I hope you're acquiring so that you're now seeing more dollars, being able to meal plan, and literally create a savings account based on what you're saving by not spending during this pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all personal finance is 95% of our personal actions. We know what to do. We know how to save. We know how to put money together. We know how much we should be putting aside, but it's tempting because we have advertisements flying at us every day. So, like for the women, every time you get on Instagram, you're seeing a Fashion Nova ad. Fellas, you're seeing Nike and Balenciaga ads. You have to learn to block that stuff off and realize that every time you give money to another company, you're putting that money into another castle, and you need to put the money into your castle first, not theoretically. And I know we're all tired of being in the house, not tired of being anywhere. But for those of us that buckle down for the next 2 years, by the time 2025 comes around, we will be very happy. During every crisis and pandemic, there is also immense opportunity. Like Madam C.J. Walker made her fortune during the 1918 Spanish flu. There are context clues that are there that if we buckle down, and it's great because like I think we have had a great awakening across the board, but I want us to share. And the more people that we share this information with, the easier it is to stay in the market together. It's really hard when you're doing it on your own because you feel like you're crazy. But if you have 25 people or you join us here every Wednesday for like a wealth tip check-in, it'll keep you guided for what you need to do. And even with all the fears that are out there, S&P 500 went up today. Everyone's been predicting a crash for the last week. Guess what? No crash. AMD new highs, Tesla going up, S&P 500 going up. Just stay the race, and then you guys will be fine. And in 2025, we'll be best of friends.
Well, but when you say that, I think most of us, when we think about it, what's the budget? We gave plenty of ideas on just starting today with 100 or 200 bucks. Here are the 3 places to go invest. In the Dunlap report, obviously, you've got your top 5 every week.
Yeah.
For those who really need to have an idea or didn't hear or just tuning in and you want to know how to build wealth today.
Take a percentage of your check, even if you can't afford it. So even if it's $100, my personal formula I like is 2 index funds. So SPY, DIA, two tech companies, Microsoft, Apple. Buy them every month, make it the first bill that you pay, and then after that, you can get fancy. I know Eastman Kodak went up a ton. Eastman is going to fall back to $12.93. Give it about 6 to 8 months, they will fall. Like a camera company can't turn into a pharmaceutical company. It's like now Trump is loyal, so he's going to pay back the favor that they did when they advertised on Apprentice. But I don't like the same way I wouldn't want Nike to make a sports drink. Like once you're in a category, it's kind of hard to break out of it. So I know a lot of people were talking about that, but I don't want us to chase things that are dangerous. I want us to chase things that are slow, steady, give a consistent return. And once you do that, you'll be a heck of a lot happier. So start with those 4. Budget, whether you have 100, 1,000, 10,000 to put into the market, put the same amount in every month, get your number of shares, and then check in a month and let me know how things. And then a lot of you reached out to me on Instagram and said, man, thank you for that tip last week. I'm up on AMD. Great job. I appreciate you. But it's just a buy and hold game. And even though it may seem boring, you're going to make a lot more money there, because some of you have asked about trading, but trading takes supreme discipline. What I call short-term invest. I short-term invest for a living. The easier money is on the long-term side. So if you don't have supreme discipline, leave trading alone for right now until you do have it, and buy every month, and you'll be golden. I mean, you guys are leaving out potentially, even if you do $500 a month in the S&P 500, that will get you between 8 to 12%. You're missing out over a 30-year or 40-year period. You're missing out on like 5 million. And then if you're doing it in tech, 500 to 1,000, you're missing out on like $6 to $8 million in a 30-year period. Like, but I think a lot of times when people talk about investing, they don't tell us the outcome. It's theoretical. But once you see that 1 or 2 month great gain, I think everyone starts to get excited from there.
I think the other thing is stay in your lane.
Yep.
Like, if you're not a professional, then don't play professional.
Yeah.
Use a lot of sports analogies. You're not prepared to go out on the court and play against LeBron.
Yep.
It's just not a consideration.
No, at all.
It is. You're not in that moment. So investing, why take the risk when that's not what you do?
Mm-hmm.
And you can literally bank on. The other thing is buying what you're consuming. Instead of buying the tennis shoes this week, invest in the tennis shoe company. See, for me, that's more important for us to know how to make our money make money for us than being consumers. When we give our money away just easily, then we're forgetting to have sacrifice, which is key.
Yeah, and these conversations have to happen more every day. And I'm glad you are providing this platform for us to do so. But even churches, barbershops, salons, when guys are still going to go hookah and go to the club, like, tell your friends, like, okay, great, we have fun Saturday, but Monday, this is what we need to do for the long term, so you can secure your future. It's the most important decision financially that we are going to make, is what companies we're going to tie ourselves to. Because I'm going to be honest, most of the companies that you guys work for don't care about you long term. I'm not anti-work by any means, but if you talk to any executive, if they have to pick between saving the company and saving your job, they're going to save the company. So for those of you who are in corporate and know how to play that game well, and you're getting stock options, kudos to you. Stay there. Find more ways to add value and also be connected to those in the C-suite, even though your manager may not want you to be. Trust me, because those that are producing at a higher level, they are staying and keeping their jobs. But play the long-term game as well. If you get stock options at your company, even better. Because it's more people that have become millionaires inside of corporations with those stock options than entrepreneurs, even though the Zuckerberg drop out of school story is a lot more sexy. For those of you in corporate, take advantage of 401k plans, stock options to the fullest, and just hold them for a long period of time and just track how well they're doing.
Nike, Adidas. How's Adidas doing?
They're all right. I like Nike better. Under Armour is terrible. They've been getting beat up pretty bad. So I will go with Nike first and foremost in that, because they're the leader in that space and one of the few retailers that I actually like. Walmart is doing pretty good. Target is doing pretty good. And then also Kroger has been on an upswing pretty much all year. And then Clorox. I mean, because everybody is shopping at the stores more and then cleaning. So, but pick a solid 4, stick with them. Don't get FOMO. Don't feel like you missed out. Stick with those 4. Because what happens is people will have a good company. They'll jump out of it. They'll buy another one at a higher price. And it's like, why? Because you feel like you heard it on TV or heard it from someone, think that you're missing out. but people are tricking you out of getting out of good companies at a cheap price, and you don't need to. Like if you have a Mercedes, like why do you care if someone else has a Lexus? Like your Mercedes is paid off, but now you're going to go get a lease on a Lexus. Why? There's no need to. Run your race, follow your plan. But this all comes down to, like you said, personal behavior and just sticking with the same thing over and over and over again. But once you have that goal in mind, and you guys that are watching, you can just Google annual return calculator and just see if you put in 10,000 in this company, let's say it goes up 400% over time. If you keep adding every month, how much you can end up with, I think that will be a very interesting eye opener for you to see how much money you're leaving on the table if you don't invest every month.
Yeah. But I think the basic math is more like this. You go to Starbucks every day and spend $3 every day in a 30-day month. That's $90.
Yep.
Starbucks is trading at how much today?
Let me go check. And culturally, I don't like some of the stuff Starbucks is doing, but they're 77.42.
So if you just didn't purchase a Frappuccino for 30 days and
What you gonna spend like $10 there? But
I'm sorry?
you're gonna spend $10 at least at Starbucks.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was giving them 3. I was
Yeah.
just say 5. And they're 20 days and a month, work days, 30 days. $5, that's $100. You could buy one share. Now you can actually go to a shareholders meeting. Now you're at least have some money in one share working for you in a company that you already give your money to.
Yep.
Just pivot your position. Yep. Instead of consuming the company, become a shareholder and own some of the company. You'll feel better the next month.
Absolutely.
Do it again and again and again.
Invest first before you spend, because think of it like a bill. Anytime you pay your bill, and I want you guys to try it, call Sprint or T-Mobile and say, hey, I'm having a hard time. I've been with you 5 years. Can you send me $200? They're going to put you on a long hold and come back and say, my manager said I can't do that. When you invest in the market, you can get your money out anytime. It's your money. So you can get the money out anytime. Even though I want you to hold, I want us to invest first versus spending. And I get it. I want to have fun too. I want to go have retail therapy. And now isn't the time, because I don't want some of us to look our kids in the face, in my case, in 13 years, and tell my kid, I could have had life way easier for you, but I prefer to go to the Galleria and go in Gucci. Like, it's not worth the trade-off. And then once your kids get to college, you know, for my parents that I've talked to that have kids that are freshmen, some parents are freaking out now, because in 4 years, what am I going to do to help put them through school? So start now, start young, have the money work for you. And kudos to my parents that have told me, like, hey, my parents invested for me and I use that money to pay for my kids' tuition. Let's pass those traditions and legacies down as well.
Yeah, but a seat at the table for us, we want them to understand exactly what it means to actually create your seat and your table and have your money working for you. The whole idea of investing and creating that legacy is so that money is working for you. At the end of the day, you have to be disciplined.
One of the easier ways to be disciplined is to set one goal every single. So for me personally, my thing is to walk 10 miles per day. So I'm looking at my Fitbit right now. I got I think 5 more to go once we get off. But once you do one thing very well, it will transfer over. Also, I know people are big on accountability groups, but no one's going to care about your money like you. So once you get into the habit of watching, reading these things, and it doesn't have to be boring. Like I swear to you, like I'm playing Drake and Jeezy while I'm watching the market. Like you don't have to be some kind of like boring kid, right? But set some goals in place for you where you just learn one thing per day. And even if you share it with your kids, like, okay, what does Kodak do? Your kid's going to be like, I don't know. You can be like, hey, they used to make cameras. What does Pfizer do? Great. What does Mercedes do? And then you will get a chance to just learn, like, keep it small. Learn one thing a day. Read one page per day, like out of an actual book, not scrolling on your phone, right? And then take one action a day. And then 2 or 3 months, your life will be different. I started very small. I started just by investing in one share, reading a couple pages, and then it ballooned into me reading 50, 80, 100 pages in a day. And then I became obsessed with it. So start small. Start small.
Ian, I appreciate you coming through.
I appreciate you as well.
Now, so that's our date, huh?
Yeah, I think that'll be a good date because there's an important day after.
Yeah.
So I think we get people to take some financial action and then maybe some other action on that following day.
Right.
And I think it can have a tremendous impact.
Okay. So that gives us about 90 days.
Yep.
Cool. Well, brother, I want to thank you for coming. Next time, let's work on vocabulary so we can increase our communities, and the Dunlap report will actually give them some insight into exactly how they can move words into their reality. Because many of us need to begin to grow our financial vocabularies.
I agree. And once we understand that, people are not able to take advantage of us either. So,
right.
I love that. And then one last tip for those of you that read Money Master the Game, go read the section about fees. So if you're paying 2% per year, it doesn't seem like a lot now, but average that up over 20 years, you're giving away 40%. So I think that chapter alone will allow you to have some conversations with your advisors and allow you to spend that much and not give up 40% over the course of 20 years or more. Because I'm seeing a lot of people having some very high fees, which that is robbing you of your early retirement as well. So that's my final gem of the night.
Thanks so much for coming in. We'll see you next week. We just got to connect maybe over the weekend.
Yeah, let's talk this weekend. I appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you, brother.
Love you, man.
Ian Dunlap, the Dunlap Report. Be sure to follow him on all social media. You are
The Master Investor on Instagram, Ian Dunlap on LinkedIn, Facebook. And then you guys can go to joinredpanda.com, sign up for the VIP list. I got something special coming out in 2 days. So I'll see you guys there.
All right. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you, brother.
Talk to you soon. Talk to you, brother. Peace. Investing, legacy are very important. That's part of being and having a seat at the table. Can't have a seat if you don't own a seat. Owning a share makes a difference. Owning something so that we're not just consumers. This is the seat at the table, and I am Munson Steed, and I want everyone to think legacy. Legacy is the key to all of us moving ourselves forward. So when you move, it is important to think of tomorrow and invest in tomorrow. What's going on? How are you? Can't see your camera.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on?
Hello.
How are you? Got to get the camera on.
Okay. I see. Start my video. Click that. How about that? All right.
How are you?
I'm good, Munson. How are you?
Oh, I'm excellent, Mr. Johnson. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to be seen.
How's business?
Long time. Business is pretty good. Business is pretty good.
You guys got what, 20 stores now?
No. We have 10 restaurants.
That's just 10, right? Just 10.
Yeah.
Just 10. Mm-hmm. So now you've got legacy. Is Cliff joining us yet?
He's coming on. I know he's coming on. He's just on the phone with his sister. His sister's here at the house.
What?
Yeah, Jessica, my daughter, she's an operator now too.
What?
Yeah, she's an operator.
Yeah. What's going on, man? Nice. 10 stores, Cliff.
On mute.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
10 stores.
Yeah. Yes.
I was teasing him when he used to hang out here in Atlanta. Did he tell you that, Mr. Johnson?
Which story? Go ahead.
Did he tell you that? When he was in Atlanta, and he was, I'm gonna do all this media. I said, Cliff, bro, you breast. You just go home.
Yeah,
Other
no.
folks trying to figure out what they doing,
Yeah.
what they should be doing.
Yeah, it's no secret. I've kind of mentioned that story a few times before. You know, back in the BG swing days, and time of the '96 Olympics, and all that good stuff. Uh, not only did Munson give me my first official internship, but outside of what I was getting from my fathers, my grandfathers, uncles, and other mentors that I had growing up. Munson, was definitely the first one that was in my ear talking about you. Yeah, man, you need to go back home with your pops, and shoot, y'all have about 30, 40 restaurants, by the time it's all said and done. And but you were the first one in my ear about that way, back in the day, back in the 90s, before I even graduated, talking about legacy. And it was definitely one of the things that at the time I didn't have a full grasp or respect or understanding of. And when you look at these other families, when you look at the Ford family, or shoot, on a more kind of localized level, shoot, I just finished Earl Graves Sr.'s book, and of course, Munson, I know you and Black Enterprise have done plenty of stuff together. And Butch is taking over his father's business, and but again, as far as what some of these other families do, it's not a secret that the parents, their job is to give us the tools, so we can go out and thrive. And that's something that my mother talks about a lot, especially with her grandson. Both my mother and my father talk about a lot with their grandson. But taking those tools and then elevating to the next level, whether if it's your family's business or whatever it is, it's kind of expected for us to succeed our family and our parents and elevate that last name to the next level. Whether it be Johnson, whether it be Steed, whatever the legacy is. So definitely. I hat tip to you, Brother Munson, like I said, for planting that seed, in me, when I definitely wasn't trying to hear it. And all I was concerned with was, trying to start the next LaFace. So.
I don't know that. I think for all of us, when you think of a dad who's already paying for college, and you say, well, he's literally committed, and it doesn't seem sexy until you look at the books. We want something that's not consistent. But you guys have created a whole generation, culture, and history. How would you describe, the contributions, Mr. Johnson, that you've kind of created and the kind of history? Because just being a Black entrepreneur there in Dallas is huge.
Yeah, well, I'm originally from Chicago. And
you said that like a gangster, Cliff. I'm originally from Chicago.
Well, you can go check the records. That's where I'm from. Born and raised on the South Side. But I tell you, I'm also the next generation. Both of my parents were both born in Chicago. So there's a lot of history and a lot of expectations that come out of the South Side of Chicago. The first Black McDonald's franchisee came out of Chicago, and that was in 1968, and it was Herman Petty. And he got that one restaurant right in the wake of the assassination of Dr. King. The city was on fire. And that's when his opportunity came. And since then, we've got, Black owner operators everywhere. But it started there.
Well, when you think about that, we've been joined by Warren Spann. How are you, Warren?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, when you think about that, though, even Chicago, a different city, though. I mean, literally, We own a home on the 38th of Michigan now,
Okay.
Margaret Burroughs' house.
Mm.
So right there in the South Side of
Yeah.
Bronxville. So I get a little bit of understanding what it is that you're talking about.
Sure,
But there's
sure.
nothing like Chicago. So
No.
I don't know that there's another city like
But-
Chicago in Black pride or Black power.
Yeah, but we love Dallas. We're in Dallas now, and we came to Dallas in 1986. And both of my children were in tow, and Cliff was 10 and my daughter was 8. And so here we are several years later. Dallas ended up being a good spot for us. And as I explained to you before, both of my children are certified McDonald's operators. My wife is an operator. So it's just, there's 4 of us. We're all certified operators. And we got one grandson right now. He's everybody's pride and joy.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Everybody.
That's legacy, and congratulations.
Yeah.
And, makes me proud to see and know that it continues, the
Yeah.
legacy continues.
Yeah.
But even as Black entrepreneurs, McDonald's seems to make Black entrepreneurs with what they do, what they teach, and why, for many who are watching, why is being a part of a system so important? Can you lead us off with that, Warren?
Sure. Everyone could have their dream, open their business. I could have opened up Warren's Burger, and probably I would have struggled. Like what McDonald's offers is structure, right? And also you have a brand that is globally recognized as being very successful. They have an absolute great platform for training and getting people prepared to, great customer service in all over the world. So that's one of the things that makes McDonald's outstanding. And one of the reasons I looked at McDonald's, I had worked over 20 years in corporate America, and my wife had an opportunity. I'm originally from New York. We were living in Richmond, Virginia at the time, and my wife asked me, "What will it take for you to relocate to Houston?" Because a company had been recruiting her, and they wouldn't take no for an answer. So I told her if I would move, I wanted to do something totally different. So at that time, I explored my entrepreneurial options, and I had met an operator in Virginia, and I spoke to him about it. And I said, "Wow, this is great." And one of the things that I like about McDonald's is that you just heard from the Johnsons, that I want to be just like them. I want to leave a legacy. I have a 15-year-old son, and hopefully he'll be able to follow my footsteps. And that's one of the things. So when you look at the brand, you look at the structure that McDonald's has. You don't necessarily hear of many McDonald's failing, but sometimes they do. Like you may have a mall. McDonald's is in a mall. The mall will be closed. Sometimes it's just access. The reason why you have to close down a McDonald's, but it's a great blueprint. It's an outstanding opportunity to allow someone to come in who's not an entrepreneur like myself and to become one and to become successful.
So, Cliff, when you think about it as a younger version of your dad, and you think about having and creating a system, how do you see it now being entrepreneurial? When you first think about it, it's just, I own a store. But now you're thinking entrepreneurially. How do you describe that type of involvement as an entrepreneur? Because to me, that's how I see the McDonald's franchisees as entrepreneurs. You got to get in the game.
You got to get in the game, and you got to, make sure that you have enough gas in the tank to stay in the game. It's very easy to get caught up in the cash flow and the money and the the fruits and the trophies that come from the game. But you know, as we all know here, you know, there's numerous stories, whether if it's, you know, a former athlete, you know, or an entrepreneur that makes you know, some bad decisions. You know, one wrong move, you know, you could lose everything. So the biggest thing and the biggest lesson that I've learned since as we kind of say in the business, since I've had my own set of keys, if you will, to my own restaurant, is just being a lot more strategic and and thinking you know, 2, 5, 10 steps ahead, you know, before I actually act on something, and making sure that you know, I only, you know, that only have to, you know, cut once after measuring twice.
I get that. Culturally, though, Mr. Johnson, coming from Chicago, moving to Dallas, for most entrepreneurs, I'm not sure and certain we tell ourselves we need to move to opportunity. So culturally, what was that like for you? Because Dallas is not Chicago.
Right. And quite honestly, we weren't looking for it to be Chicago. You know, Chicago had a bunch of guys and many of my close friends. The guy that got me started is still a successful McDonald's operator in Chicago. And he gave, you know, he was the one that I talked to about it. But the opportunity presented itself. Well, like I told you, the first Black owner operator was in Chicago, so there was a pretty good concentration of Black operators in Chicago. So you know, you start thinking, well, where else can I go? And I remember when I talked to the licensing guy with McDonald's. He was a brother. He said, "Well, Cliff, where do you think you'd like to go?" I said, "I don't know." I said, if we just talking, I said, maybe I'd like to go someplace that was a little bit warmer." And he told me something I'll never forget. He said, "Man, one thing you got to understand," he said, "is that if you get you some money, you don't get hot or cold." And I learned that, you know, so, you know, you go where the opportunity is, you know, and it looked like, you know, there was going to be some opportunity for us, you know, in Dallas. And, you know, we came and, you know, we had a little stumble here, and then we get something here. But all in all, you know, we've been at this thing for 30 something years. And I've seen a whole lot of folks go, you know, that didn't have a steady hand. So, you know, it ended up being a good decision for us to, you know, to come down here.
Yeah, I like Dallas. It's a transactional town. I'm not sure that I would give up Atlanta for Dallas just based on being here. It's a little hot too.
Yeah.
Being from Tucson, I know hot. So Dallas is hot. I think it's an opportunity. I'm glad y'all are down there. I wish I could come visit, but obviously COVID. Culturally, though, I think the community, the role that you guys play in the community is also important. And I think the kind of describe that. Why have Black McDonald owners just decided to be involved in their community, invest in their community? Why? Why is that culturally a part of every BMOA? Cliff?
Warren, or who's that on?
Mhm.
Well, I mean, for one, I mean, it's no secret, you know, who one of our biggest consumers, you know, is, you know, I mean, we, you know, the Black community supports McDonald's, and we support, you know, our community, you know, in return. And you know, it's not just transactional. You know, we give away, you know, tens of thousands of dollars in scholarships every single year. Not just you know, from an award standpoint, but also the number of our employees that work with us. Just by being an employee, you automatically qualify for a scholarship. to the school of your choice. There's endless training that people have access to. I was talking to a good friend of mine's daughter the other day, and we were talking about minimum wage. And her father gave her, the Webster's definition. And then, I emphasized with her that, you get paid minimum wage when you do minimum work. And with McDonald's, you can literally work on the fry station, or you can work on the engineering and the mechanics that actually makes the fryer for the fry station. You can actually read the drive-through window and the screen that puts the order up, so people know what to make. Or you can actually be behind the scenes in the coding, and again, the people that write the design, for the actual graphics that come up on the screen. You can work in the marketing department. You can work in customer service. There's so many different things besides just flipping burgers, if you will. And of course, nothing's wrong with that, because all the gentlemen here on this screen have had to do that, to get where we are. Like another one of my mentors told me, until they find an alternative for eating, McDonald's will be around and will be relevant. And the beauty of that is, again, the fact that there's numerous aspects to this business that not only people can thrive from, but also give back to their communities at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Warren, describe the culture for your managers, because once you got one store, obviously you can't sit in that one. After you got 3 stores, you can't sit in that one. So the opportunity that you're describing, Cliff, is to be a manager, to actually be able to manage multiple stores. So Warren, what's that like, and what's the relationship like growing people in your organization so that they want to stay?
Yes, that's one of the keys for this business is people. If you have good people, you can be very successful. So what I see myself as an enabler. I like to develop talent. And one of the things is I want them to not just be good managers. I want them to be successful leaders and business people. I want them to understand why you're doing things, not just giving them a list of tasks to do, but when they understand the reason behind why we're doing it and then how it's driving business results, they're more effective. So I meet with them, I nurture, I develop, I actually engage with them, allow them to push back, come up with their ideas. I usually do business plans every 6 months. And I actually, we do like a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And we go through and say, this is what we stand. This is what we're good at. Here's our weaknesses. Here's our opportunities. Here's our threats. What do you think we need to do in order to meet our objective, to grow, to be more successful, to eliminate the turnover that we have with our crew, right? Because if you have high turnover, you have a lot of people who just come in and out the door. You end up spending a lot of time training, retraining, and you take 2 steps forward and 3 steps backwards. So a lot of it is just making sure that you have a good relationship with them. And just we have to respect them, keep it professional. But what's not measured cannot be, you can't grow and you can't execute on it. A lot of it is letting them understand why you're measuring them against their goals, so that we can improve.
Cliff, I know being next to your dad and having even your sister in the business now, what's it like, Cliff, to have a dad like that who literally is there as you and your sister are in the next gen, not only program, but obviously you got your keys now. What's that like, that father-son relationship that people don't read about, because you rarely read about father-son relationships, father-daughter relationships, and see it. Most people don't. I know Butch. So when your dad says Butch, and you know I know Butch, so it's very different. But we don't see that. That's not on television. So what does it mean to you to know that there's another Black man who happens to be your dad that is willing and loves and trusts you? What's that like? Just share with us.
That last part that you just said, Munson, trust. Being able to have a partner in this business, my father, my sister, and my mother, that I can trust. I know I can ask them absolutely anything about anything, and I can get an honest and truthful answer with no, angle, no motive, nothing. I know, and it can sometimes be raw and not necessarily what I want to hear, but but I know it's going to be something that is, of course, thoughtful, and it's going to allow me to make the best decision considering the situation.
As you're watching the next generation, Mr. Johnson Sr., and you look to second generation, what kind of goals are you sharing with Cliff so that he can see 10 years down the line that many others, don't have a mentor like you? Because it's great to have a dad who can mentor and have vision and who has existed, 30 years in the game, period. I mean,
I'm 35, Munson.
35. You gotta get shirt that it says he's a GOAT. You know what I mean? Like that's a GOAT t-shirt. You and LeBron, you in the league of your own.
In Dallas, I'm sorry, Pop, not to cut you off, but in Dallas, he is the I don't want to say the oldest, but the most veteran Black owner operator in Dallas. So they say you got to give folks they roses while they're here, and that's definitely a hat tip to both my mother and father. They have, stood the test of time, weathered many storms, but 35 years in the game in Dallas.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
Go.
But the main thing is I'll just tell you what I told my kids. And basically what I said was, Cliff and Jessica, I said that they would not be able to be in this business if it had not been for their mother and me. But having said that, I would have to say that now I could not have succeeded without them and with them being in the business now. So now it's their turn. All we did was prep, get this thing ready. I hear people talking about what they're gonna leave their kids and their legacy and how much money are they gonna leave them and all that stuff. I ain't never told my kids I was gonna leave them a bunch of money. What I told them is, I said, I'm not gonna leave you $1 million. I said, but I will leave you a millionaire kit. There'll be some assembly required, but there's all the parts will be there. All you got to do is figure out how to get it done. But I've been blessed. That's I've got 2 young people that have always been our pride and joy. It sounds a little bit corny, but
No, it doesn't.
put the work in.
When you say that, and I interview a lot of people, probably, and you may not know it, I'm on 4 hours a day.
Okay.
And there's nothing corny about love.
Yeah.
Like for Black men, we got 4 Black men. I love Cliff just like he's my brother, my nephew, if there was something. So it's pure and simple. It's not we have to be able to say, I love it. And it's not corny. It's respectful.
Yeah.
It's an emotion that some will never hear.
Right.
You know, it is an emotion. Ain't nothing corny about love and the fact that you can say it to your son now, and you can say it to your grandson now. Those are dreams come true. You know, Emmett Till didn't have that dream.
Right.
That is so real to, you know, him. He never got the experience, and I'm sure, you know, Cliff tells you he loves you, so I'm not even worried about that. That's a simple thing. But I'm just saying, for other men who are hearing it, it's not corny. Like, you know, if you ain't that vulnerable, I really don't necessarily want you in my life. When I see you, you know, if you my guy, you know, dude, like, we hanging out, you nigga, I can give you my trust, and then there's no love. Them things kind of go together.
Right.
You know?
Right. No question. No question.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I said, I count it all joy, and you know the kids, and there'll always be kids. You know, they bring a lot, and every day, you know, when I get up in the morning, I still like to go into the restaurants. You know, I enjoy going into the restaurants and try and stay out of their way. You know, but I still like to go in there, man, and get my senior cup of coffee. You know, we still got the best coffee in town.
You know, I'm all for the coffee, but just for me right now with this COVID, you know, just DoorDash it or something right now.
Yeah, you're right.
This coffee you need, because you know, send him some DoorDash coffee. We need you checking on you. I told Gail Hill out of Columbus. I told her the other day, don't be passing by no stores. I know y'all want to pass by the stores, but you know, let the next gens pass by the stores. You know.
Right.
Months it out. That's I tell you. You know, I know folks. You know, all quarantined out and ain't trying to. But I mean, seriously, both me and my sister, like, Pop, stay at home. We got this. We're trying to tell them. You know you got to stretch out and everything, but Pop, chill. We got it.
You guys have pivoted though. What's it like? You know, and I asked both you and Warren, Cliff. We can start with you, Cliff. From technology, you guys have definitely figured out delivery with McDonald's. I remember when everybody was worried about food quality, but you guys figured it out. What's that like, and how are you utilizing technology during COVID, or just in this whole bring it to me, I'm not coming in?
Well, go ahead, Warren. No, please.
Yeah, well, technology plays a key role. You know, when I first started training, technology was really an afterthought. It was just there. It wasn't something that we really looked at. We were more focused on operations. Now, technology supports operation, right? So it's like, and it's a critical point of supporting operations. We've updated our back offices so that, you know, we can deliver faster improvements to our system, such as like allowing us to do delivery and to have kiosks. And like, you know, it's like delivery is so sophisticated. It's like you can have a customer places an order and just say they did it on the way to work. And they're planning on stopping just before they get to the highway. But there's an accident, so they have to change the route. So they have the order in, right? And what you can do with delivery is actually go to a McDonald's 10, 15 miles away, no matter how far away. Once you're on that lot, that order will be calculated, and they'll say, how would you like to pick it up? And that's just amazing how you do. A lot of people don't realize what we are able to do with delivery. And then we're actually with our mobile orders. I said our mobile orders, right? That's just amazing. And then what we're trying to do now is to figure out a way with our mobile orders that we can actually market to our customers, so that, hey, this is what you ordered last time, or, you know, actually give them incentives for how many purchases they make. That's something that's coming down the pipeline. But delivery is something that, just started maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Last year in 2019, it was maybe 1% of sales or transactions. Now it's getting close in some of my stores to 3%. It's almost triple. And a lot of it has to do with like the COVID experience. A lot of people are placing orders, larger orders, and they don't want to go out, so they have the food delivered. So, but McDonald's operators have made significant investments in technology, whether it be the digital outdoor menu boards, the kiosks in the restaurants, to have a consistent, restaurant appearance and ability, because the U.S. was pretty much lagging the other countries as far as technology was concerned. We were the first, but a lot of the systems that we had were like, the original systems, and they were outdated. So we had to make significant investments, and now we're reaping the rewards.
So from a lifestyle marketing position, Cliff, you think about it. It's mobile. It's now. What do you as a next gen see as the whole future of how the delivery, the lifestyle, the whole collaboration with other brands is going to connect to your brand?
It's all about convenience, and the easier you can make it for a customer to get their strawberry shake, quarter pounder with cheese, and large fry, the more the more they are going to come to your business and patronize your business. There's all types of you were talking about the delivery, and like Warren was touching on, a growing customer population, especially with the delivery app, are kids that can't drive or don't have a restaurant or a place to go that's walking distance. And they can now, they don't have to wait for that ride or worry about getting on a bike or a bus to get to, to get to the restaurant. They can get their nuggets delivered to them and not miss a beat on their Xbox. And with what they're doing with AI and the innovations that they're doing there, again, we talk about convenience. It's going to get to the point where, when you pull into the drive-through, they're going to ask, hey, Cliff, do you want your, do you want the usual? And, and it's literally going to be artificial intelligence taking your order, asking you that. It's not going to be a live person. So, there's a lot of things that are coming down the pipeline that, we're all excited about, because again, these are things that are going to make it, easier and more convenient for our customers to enjoy the taste that they love.
It's been in I like that. AI, I don't know, my fillet of fish, I guess, is what I have when I pass through. And I'm working to stay away from them damn fries. I mean, like literally.
Just get it small. Just get it small. It's all about moderation, right?
Yeah, it definitely is about moderation, and it's definitely a place that I go. I think many people forget how important it is in our community just to be able to go get a meal. True. And I tell people when they start, well, I don't do. I say, well, you may not, but there are a lot of people that need.
True.
And at the end of the day, especially in your father's hometown in Chicago, there weren't some of those McDonald's to be straight up food desert, period, other than the JJ's Fish or something like that. So I think there's a huge dedication. But during COVID, just want to ask each of you, free meals for workers, obviously the thank you meal. What was that like for you to be doing that, Cliff Jr.?
Again, it's it's one of those things that a lot of us as owner operators have done before we made a national campaign around it. A lot of us have been, as we say, blue friendly, where police officers eat free in our restaurants all the time, 24/7. You know, we've donated meals to hospitals before, to child care centers, you know, to the frontline workers. It was you know, it was definitely a good thing, like I said, that we made a national promotion about it and kind of galvanized the troops, if you will. But again, this is something that the majority of McDonald's owner operators have always done. When it comes back to giving back to our communities and making sure that they know that they're always appreciated.
Now, I know you're hanging out with Megan Thee Stallion down there. I know that's Warren. I know you're hanging out with Megan.
in H-Town, huh?
Yeah, I know where she's at. I talked.
That dude Warren is a savage on the poker table. I'll say that.
Y'all got hit pretty hard down there in Houston with that.
Yes, we have been.
It is truly, y'all still turning up. I thought, you know, we turned up in Atlanta, but y'all still turning up in Houston. I don't know what's going on. How's COVID affected your business?
You know, at first everyone was concerned, but what we've done at McDonald's, we put in a lot of precautions and put safety measures in place to protect our crew and the customers, right? So we've had to put up the plexiglass in front of the front counter where you place your order and where you deliver the food, and then also at the drive-through, at the cash window, and at the present window. So that's protected our customer, the crew and customers. The crew they were concerned. A lot of them felt like, okay, I may have some pre-existing health conditions. I'm not comfortable coming to work. So, you know, early on, we weren't prepared for this. Like the country wasn't prepared. Everyone was like trying to figure out, do we have enough sanitizer? Do we have enough masks? Do we have enough gloves? We got to the point where we were able to launch and across the country so that everyone could, you know, pretty much have masks and gloves, protective gear. And then we also, McDonald's developed cleaning procedures where, you know, we sanitize hot spots every half hour. We clean bathrooms, like any doorknob, any place that's touched. So, and then we always wash our hands. But we've got to the point where all the employees wear masks and gloves. So with those measures in place, in addition to closing the dining and play places, so that, you know, if you have I have 2 locations with play places and I haven't been used. They're new toys too, and they haven't been used since March. And we've also closed down all the self-serve beverage stations, just so that, you know, there's no cross-contamination. With that, our focus has been drive-through, delivery, and takeout. And you know, to tell you the truth, you asked how my business has fared since the virus. We've done a lot better. It's not far from where we were. I'm just slightly down. So I was able to get my crew comfortable and managers comfortable. The customers, they loved that we were available and providing service to them. And you know, like during this point, our scores, like the customers respond to our service with this called voice. Our voice scores were outstanding. They really appreciated what we're doing, because, like, you know, when we started doing the free meals for the first responders, I felt that I had to do something for my people because they were first responders as well. So I ended up doing something for them. So that, you know, and then also, you know, for the people, I also gave them a bonus, like people that were working throughout the time, like, you know, based on their average hours, I ended up giving them bonus. So that's showing appreciation
Cool.
to my group.
You know, Mr. Senior, tell me about this food innovation, and then you can follow up your dad. Food innovation. You know, that plant-based diet is increasing.
You must be talking to Roman numeral 2. That's my son's. You know, with us having the same name, when I go someplace, they turn around and they see me, and I said, I know who you're looking for. You're looking for my son. I said, but I will hold up the banner for him because that's his thing. I was just I'm the local OpNAD rep. OpNAD is our national advertising group, and when they see our name there, I always have to make sure that I bring in the pitch that my son does as far as plant-based food, plant-based protein, and emphasis on that. We don't have anything in our market yet, but I understand, you know, that there's a lot of hoopla about it. What we do have, though, is a good menu that has been in place for a number of years, and you know, you probably will see some things coming down the line later. But I'm gonna let my son is on the menu and innovation team. I'm gonna let him take it from here.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, it's they've been testing specifically some plant-based products in Canada and in a couple of other markets. With me being on the national menu experience team, it's definitely something that I am personally extremely passionate about, as is a number of other owner operators throughout the country. But right now, with the timing of everything, and as we focus on the simplification of our menu, it just doesn't have a place right now. As we focus on just streamlining operations, getting rid of the items that are not as profitable and selling as much in our restaurants currently, and just giving our crew people one less thing to worry about. Our kitchens are and our drive-throughs are 20 plus seconds faster right now because we don't have as many items on the menu. Our waste has gone down significantly because those items that are not selling and that are not as popular have been removed from the menu. And it's one of those things when you look at when people come to our restaurants and what they're looking for. They're looking for a burger, they're looking for chicken, and they're looking for value, and that's why some of the things we got coming down the pipeline, end of this year, specifically, these spicy nuggets that we got getting ready to come out. I'm excited about those. I'm very excited about those. It's an awesome product. And I know it's gonna, I know that, we have a large, consumer base that, wants a spicy product from us. Everybody else has it. And, we have a value, a spicy value proposition, but, we will finally have a spicy premium, product that'll be coming very soon that you'll be hearing a lot more about here in the very near future.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to thank you all for your time, just getting and coming to a seat at the table. But just want to say how proud I am of all three of you. Obviously, Warren, great to meet you, but
Right.
Have always been a part of the family. Cliff, we're going to have to get you, Cliff Jr. and Warren, get them a little bit more nimble over there. The menu's cool, but we got to get the cool points up. And I'm glad you're in there. I know. We got to figure out, we got to talk about that, because I think that's the last barrier to kind of, get the menu right, obviously streamlining that. I mean, it's way too much. This is not a grocery store. So,
Mm-hmm.
come get your food and let's keep moving and be happy together. So I think the cool points are going to be up with the next generation. I think all of y'all are marketers and want to be a little bit more nimble. And then your dad won't have to be on the OpNet. I know Gail's pivoting off the OpNet. And she has Andre on there, but they just really.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I said, no, those are my folks right there. Yeah. Got much love for Gail and Dre, for sure. Represent.
No, but I'm just saying, at least you and he are live and on Instagram and are understanding AI. So living that lifestyle. So thanks a lot to all of you from rolling out. We continue to love with McDonald's, and more than anything for me, it's the operators. The Black operators that are making a difference in our community. So we will appreciate you and know that everything that you do is meaningful to us and to the community. Thanks so much. Much love to you, Mr. Johnson.
Man, it's good seeing you, even if it's just virtual. It's good seeing you, man.
I'm taking all visits virtually. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Warren. Cliff, love you.
Likewise.
Okay. Take care. All right.
Peace. Bye.
For all of you out there, just know that this is what legacy is about. The community is definitely depending on all of us, but this is an example. The Johnsons, Brother Warren, are examples of what success and legacy and commitment to family and culture is about. I'm Munson Steve. We'll see you next week on A Seat at the Table, and we love you. You do not have to be in the streets, but you do have to be in the struggle. Peace. I'm Munson Steve. We're rolling out. This is A Seat at the Table.